come here alone or?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
came here all by myself.
Dang.
Didn't know anyone when I moved here. Didn't know any English.
Yeah.
Didn't know the city. Didn't have had no idea what to expect.
What'd you bring with you?
All that I had with me was a backpack full of clothes and an iron.
No money, nothing.
Well, I had like 400 bucks with me,
Yeah.
but I had to have my iron. I just can't stand, wrinkles in my clothes. Still to this day, I can't make that up, man.
An iron and clothes and 400 bucks.
Yeah.
When you first got here, did you first come to Minnesota? Or?
Well, yeah. I flew into where was it? Dallas. I flew into Dallas, and I spent just a few hours there in the immigration building and whatever. And yeah, I just took another plane and flew right here.
And you live in St. Paul?
No, I live in Minneapolis, South Minneapolis.
Where exactly are you from?
Well, I was born in Barbados, and I lived there for the first 2 years of my life, and then I moved to Venezuela with my mom. It's raining, dude.
It's okay.
All right.
Let's see. What's something someone might not know about immigration?
About immigration.
Yeah,
Well,
about coming to the U.S.
um, people from the U.S. or people who are immigrating here?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, when you were coming here, what's something that the process of you getting here that someone might not know about?
Well, it was a really long process. It was hard. It's really confusing, especially if you don't know any English. I didn't know about all the paperwork that you needed to do. I didn't know that I could still pay taxes without, having a social security number, those kind of things. Those were things that I learned, through the process of, living here and trying to get a job and trying to do the right thing even when I didn't have any papers.
How did they let you cross the border without any papers?
Well, I flew in.
Okay.
I had a visa. I received a visa when I was in Venezuela. I came into just a visitor's visa. I had a visa for 5 weeks. That's I was only allowed to be here for 5 weeks,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I overstayed
Yeah.
that visa.
We planned on that, obviously.
No, I wasn't planning on
Really?
it. I never came here to live here. I was living in Venezuela. I was living in Merida. I was just having my regular life. I was going to law school down there, and I don't know. One day something clicked. One day I woke up and I decided that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life as a lawyer. Living there, wearing a suit every day, and just decided to do something else. I didn't know what it was though. So I gathered all my friends. Not all my friends, but just my really, really good friends, and I basically told them that I was leaving, but I didn't know where I was going to, and I gave away everything that I had, everything but my iron
Yeah, and you both.
and those few clothes. I gave,
Yeah.
they took my house, and I used to give them my
Yeah.
keys and bought a plane ticket. Thought that Minneapolis was a really cool name for a city, and just came here.
So then after those 5 weeks, you actually went back?
No, I never went
Never
back.
went back?
No, I just wanted to travel. I was gonna keep traveling around.
Yeah.
I was gonna go back to Barbados for a while, and I just met really cool people when I first got here, and just started. I changed my plane ticket, and I go, I'll go back in a month. And
Yeah.
then after that month went by, I ran out of money. I didn't have any money to go back, so I went and started, eating at this restaurant, and I got to know the general manager. And we started talking, and one day he just came and asked me, "Hey, do you need a job? Do you want a job?" And I'm like, "Sure." And that's how things started.
So after that 5 weeks, when they knew you didn't come back, what happened then?
Nothing really happened because I was smart enough to do things by the book.
Yeah.
I got an ITIN number which you can pay taxes with without, having a social security number, and so I was paying my taxes. I wasn't doing anything that could potentially put me in trouble, and eventually met this girl, and we really liked each other. She moved to the West Coast. I went there with her for a little while, came back, and we decided to move in together. And she moved back to Minneapolis. Started living together for a while, and got married. And then she filed a petition for me to stay here. And we're still 6 years later, and we're still married. So that's how I got my papers.
So
What
the
was you saying?
process of filling out the papers that your wife had to do,
It was
being a lawyer.
yeah, we had to get a lawyer. It was really, I don't want to say difficult, but it was stressful. It was a really stressful situation because at that point I knew that I wanted to be here. I knew that I wanted to be with Brooke, but basically your whole future is in someone else's hands. It all depends if back then when it was the INS, if they say yes or no. So we had some of our friends like write affidavits saying like how we were as a couple, and we had pictures from their wedding, and I had to prove that I had been paying taxes this whole time, so I had that. And basically we just filed all the paperwork and just sat around and waited until.
How long of a process was it?
It was fairly quick. I think I can't remember very well, but I think it was about 6 months long.
Okay.
And I received my green card, and it was with conditions, which means that after 2 years I had to go back, just kind of checking with the immigration service. I had to still be married or have a reason to not be married, and things were going great with Brooklyn and I, and that's when I got the real green card, or
More permanent?
what they call the permanent one, or what they call they remove my conditions.
Okay.
So at this point I just have to renew it every 10 years, or if I want I can apply for citizenship, but probably won't do that.
Okay. Tell me about where you're from, like poverty and all that stuff. How was it bad, or you just didn't want to be there?
Well, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to travel. I wanted to see what else was out there for me, because Venezuela is not a rich country, but people can get by. The thing that I really don't like about Venezuela, it's not a stable country. There is a lot of violence. People kill you to take your pants. People kill you over a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
That's not the way I wanted to live. I don't like walking down the street and just be looking over my shoulder every 5 minutes to see if someone is following me, trying to steal something from me. And I was thinking about the future. I was thinking about kids and whatever. And I know that I don't want my kids to grow up the way that I grew up. But in the other hand, it's a beautiful country. It's breathtaking. Some people there are really good people, but you don't hear about that enough. It wasn't enough to keep me there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's no war or anything at the time, or anything.
No, there was no war or anything. We did have that. Well, I don't even think it was ever considered a war, but it was kind of like a coup when back in the days Chavez was part of the military and he tried to overthrow the government. There were a few days when there were F-16s dropping bombs in downtown Caracas, and there was curfews, countrywide. So I guess it wasn't really a war, but I seen bombs being dropped.